Usyk's a worried man, and I've been around fighting men all my life. I can see inside the soul. He knows he's facing the best Tyson Fury, and what we've worked on, and how he is, and how he's been in camp.
I'm very happy to be here again. Congratulations, you win a football. It's a great. Congratulations.
The Furies have raged again, and the entire boxing world just can't have enough of their tantrums. Well, this time, they almost got victimized by the same man who gave the giant Tyson Fury the first defeat of his boxing career. Arriving in Saudi Arabia from Malta, where he had an intense training camp in preparation for the rematch of the Unified World Heavyweight Championship clash, Tyson Fury was with his team members, including coaches Sugar Hill Stewart, Andy Lee, and his father, John Fury. Coincidentally, Oleksandr Usyk was also entering into the country ahead of their fight week, as they were to begin media duties, press conferences, and weigh-ins a few days later.
He's been in camp, and he has put some slog in, because I've slaughtered him. And I mean slaughtered him, because he's needed it. And you're going to see the benefit of that Saturday night, and so's Usyk.
However, their collision became troubling when Oleksandr Usyk decided to continue his hitman act at the airport by playing mind games with Tyson Fury. He moved towards the British boxer and feigned punches at him, promising him to beat him so hard that his father would mourn for him. Well, that was all that was needed for the Furies to flare up and create a scene. Soon, John Fury walked up to Oleksandr Usyk and kept ranting, attempting to shove the unified world heavyweight champion. Well, but for those who saved him from reaching the Ukrainian, he probably would have suffered the same fate as his son on May 18th. Well, it was interesting to see that Oleksandr Usyk didn't only continue from where he stopped in the pre-fight press conference, but he heightened the intensity of whatever he was doing. Well, the day was saved from trouble, as John Fury wasn't present to hinder Tyson Fury from signing Usyk's picture or fight Usyk for making such a move. The press conference weeks ago had the two fighters troll themselves and fire shots at each other. However, there was no form of anonymity or chaos between the two fighters. The pre-fight press conference for their highly anticipated heavyweight rematch has just wrapped up at the stunning Guildhall in London, and it was certainly a rather unique watch with one-word answers, fancy dress costumes, and even a cheeky tickle to round out the show.
I have to be a little bit more focused and a little bit more smart to get the victory. As it would seem, my rematch with people is always ends up one way. I always end up knocking them out in the rematch.
In May of this year, Oleksandr Usyk was crowned undisputed heavyweight champion of the world when he came back from a tough opening stanza to wobble and then outwork Tyson Fury in what was a razor-close but truly sensational win for the Ukrainian. With the rematch now set for December 21st in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the two boxing kings engaged in a rather unusual pre-fight press conference earlier today, with Oleksandr Usyk turning up in an Agent 47 costume from the hit video game series Hitman. Not only had Usyk gotten into character by donning the iconic Agent 47 suit and shaving his head, but he also carried with him a military-grade briefcase that hilariously held a picture of him landing one of his patented overhand left hands on the Gypsy King.
Whoever I've faced more than once has been knocked out in the rematch, so I'm envisaging something similar in the second fight with Usyk.
Never one to back down from a joke, Tyson Fury would himself sign the picture and return it to the dominant 22-0 champion, with his trainer laughing as he noted, "Tomorrow you will find this on eBay." Whilst Fury was happy to go along with Usyk's hitman impersonation, that isn't to say that the British superstar didn't have an ominous warning of his own prepped and ready. "I have to be a little bit more focused and a little bit smarter if I'm to get the victory," acknowledged Fury, before pointing out that rematches throughout the course of his career have only ever gone one way. Former world heavyweight champion Tyson Fury left fans convinced that his preparation for the rematch against Ukrainian Oleksandr Usyk is the best he has had in his career, after showing a very different physique in his sparring sessions. The Gypsy King is looking to get revenge on his Ukrainian opponent after his unbeaten record was broken, after Usyk became unified heavyweight champion last May.
As you can see, counting down the days until I can get my redemption on Usyk. December the 21st is going to be my time. I've done everything in boxing, but I ain't come back from a loss, and I relish it.
Unlike his usual custom, Fury has kept a low profile while working in an intense training camp alongside fitness trainer Sugar Hill Stewart, ahead of his rematch against Usyk on December 21st at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. In the first bout between the two heavyweight titans, Fury was outboxed in the ring by Oleksandr Usyk, according to the judges' scorecards, to go against the odds, showing incredible athleticism to nullify his opponent's height and reach. But now, Fury looks set to make the most of his size advantage against Usyk next month, as the 36-year-old pugilist appears to have piled on the muscle ahead of the eagerly anticipated bout.
The 12th and final round.
The Wythenshawe-born boxer has been recruiting a wide range of sparring partners in preparation for facing Usyk, with South African Kevin Lerena among those hired by Fury's training team, Daily Mail reported on its website. In reaction to Fury's muscular figure, one follower on X posted, "I feel like Usyk has outskilled Fury, so Fury has to use his weight advantage, something he didn't do last time." When Tyson Fury says that Oleksandr Usyk neither surprised him nor was particularly difficult to fight back in May, it really doesn't matter whether you choose to believe him or not.
Architect's usually about money, and both fighters have got to be willing.
Is that the delay in that fight, that he's asking for too much or not enough, that you feel that, or you feel you should get the lion's share?
Don't get involved in all the business side anymore, because it used to give me a lot of stress.
All that really matters, in fact, is that Tyson Fury has decided to say it more than once, and that in saying it, he presumably believes it. Whether the rest of us do is neither here nor there. We only watched the fight. We only saw Usyk hurt and almost stop Fury in round 9 before settling for a reasonably comfortable points win. This was our view of events, and indeed it is an agreed, almost universal one. Yet that still does not mean Fury is wrong to say or believe what he said either. He, after all, was the one feeling the fight, not simply watching it. He had an insight not one of us outside the ropes can match, an insight even Oleksandr Usyk, the man with whom he shared a ring, will not have ahead of their rematch on December 21st.
Stress and anxiety. So I'd rather not even get involved.
You know, Tyson's ready to fight anybody in the world, but they've got to pay him what he's worth. And I don't think Usyk's worth a 50-50, because Usyk on his own without Tyson Fury can't sell the O2 out.
What I've learned from these boxing fights is...
Asked yesterday if there was anything that surprised him about Usyk in May, Fury said on TNT Sports, "Being honest, as I always am, it was actually easier than I thought it would be. I listened to Tony Bellew, and I listened to Anthony Joshua, and they said this guy is so hard to hit, he's the Matrix. So I'm thinking this guy must be really hard to hit. I'm expecting to be missing him a lot. But in realistic terms, he was much easier to hit than I anticipated. And it got me a little bit complacent, because every time I threw an uppercut to the body or the head or a feint, I would hit him." Of all the things said at Wednesday launch press conference, this was one of the more interesting, if only because you could sense the conviction. It is entirely possible, too, that both things can be true. That is, it can be true that Fury was soundly beaten by Usyk in May, but also that he came away from the defeat that night with the belief, or at least some knowledge, he was previously without. That alone could be a decisive factor when these two heavyweights meet again. For no longer is Usyk a surprise or some mythical being. In the mind of Fury, he is instead someone who was easier to hit than he expected, and someone who only managed to get the upper hand and ultimately beat Fury because Fury, to use his own theory, got complacent and was having too much fun.
I have to be a little bit more focused and a little bit more smart to get the victory. As it would seem, my rematch...
If that happens to be true, any element of it, Fury should be just fine as far as confidence goes on December 21st. He may, ironically, have even more confidence going into the rematch, coming off a defeat, than he had going into the first fight, back when he was unbeaten. Yet Usyk, his opponent, represented the unknown and created in him so much uncertainty. It is worth noting as well how the first fight changed and how the momentum shifted. It changed suddenly, you will remember, after a period in which Fury appeared to be settling down, working Usyk's body and looking on course to take over and pull away. It changed just as he was starting to relax, feel good about himself. It started, perhaps, just as he was getting ahead of himself, a tad complacent.
Whoever I've faced more than once has been knocked out in the rematch, so I'm envisaging something similar in the second fight with Usyk.
In other words, should you hear Fury's account of Fight 1 and believe what he is saying, there is enough proof in that fight to convince yourself both you and Fury are not going mad. Equally, there is enough proof, both in how Usyk turned the fight around and how Usyk turns every fight around, to indicate that the trajectory of Fight 1 had less to do with Fury and more to do with his opponent. Meaning, although it could be true that Fury found Usyk easier to hit than expected, and although it could be true that he found the fight itself easier than expected, what probably surprised him in the end was how Oleksandr Usyk was still able to do to him what he has done to every opponent he has faced in his 22-0 fight pro career, without knowing how, without seeing it coming, without even realizing it. Talking about John Fury's antics the May time he showed up, former world champion Anthony Crolla has delivered a stinging critique of Tyson Fury's corner during his initial bout with Oleksandr Usyk, yet he sees no issue with John Fury being present for the upcoming rematch.
The way she's reacted to the step up in level of opponents.
I think in the step of opponent, the performances are getting better and better. She had a long camp for this one. And like I say, she's got a fantastic team around her. We're in the gym working hard with mate Dom, who's over there.
Usyk, age 37, handed Fury his first professional defeat in May, clinching a narrow split decision win in Riyadh. The two Titans are set to resolve their rivalry on December 21st in a highly anticipated rematch. After Fury's loss earlier this year, several boxing greats, including Ricky Hatton, have suggested Fury should consider removing his father, John, from his corner for the forthcoming clash. With just over a week until the heavyweights face off once more, Crolla has joined the conversation regarding the corner chaos in their first encounter, describing it as a shambles. In an interview with Razed, Crolla remarked, "There's no denying that last time, the corner was a bit shambles. You had a lot of great boxing brains in there, but there's no denying that the corner was a shambles. There might be one voice this time in the corner with Sugar Hill Stewart, who is the head coach, Andy Lee, who has a great brain, and John Fury, who knows his son very well."
Because Tyson's always been very good with the Warriors, but this time I think he messed up, and Usyk's team played it brilliant, being honest. Do you know why? Because Tyson, obviously I like Tyson, knew him years, but the moment he went, you know what, 70-30, that's all you're worth. Usyk's gone, no problem.
Do you think it was a bluff call?
I do. And I think he's double bluffed him, because then he goes, you know, you're on about rematch.
He added, "When it's time for Tyson to sit down in the corner, it might be time for one clear voice, and I believe that's how it should be. I think Tyson will win the rematch, and I have always said I believe he is the best heavyweight in the world. Speculation is rife about whether Fury will have his father by his side in Riyadh." Boxing aficionado Crolla weighs in, saying there's no issue with John in the corner provided he follows certain guidelines. "It's a hard one because Tyson likes his dad's opinion and Big John got a lot of stick, but means well," Crolla remarked. "Emotions took over, and that's natural where I've seen it before, and it's hard to be emotionally attached to someone, but you have to separate it. John will probably admit he got a little bit involved, and the build-up to the fight with the famous headbutt didn't help Tyson whatsoever."
He said, no, we don't need no rematch clause, it's okay. And it's like, and I don't believe Tyson's like gone, but what it's done then, it's made people look.
He added, "I've always got on with John, but the incident with the headbutt made a few people turn towards Usyk, who was fighting Tyson Fury. And Tyson may have thought a lot of people who should be backing me are against me. I don't think there is anything wrong with John Fury being in the corner, but if he is, I believe this time he will be under strict instructions to not voice his opinion over the head coach or Andy Lee. Ahead of his fight, has revealed his similarities with Mike Tyson and admits he's not the same fighter as he was over a decade ago as the Brit prepares to take on Oleksandr Usyk once again. The Gypsy King is currently in the final stages of his training camp for his rematch with the Ukrainian.
To most people, it's made it look like the problem lies with Tyson Fury and his team, when I probably don't. I saw Frank Warren's done like interviews with one of you guys actually.
Usyk handed the Brit the first defeat of his professional career back in May, winning via split decision. Many are wondering how much more the 36-year-old has got left in the tank following his agonizing defeat earlier this year. Despite those concerns, Fury is backing his ability to shine through on fight night and level the series amid talks of a potential trilogy bout between the heavyweight stars. Throughout the first encounter, there were large spells where Fury was boxing brilliantly. The pivotal moment came in the 9th round when Usyk left the Gypsy King dazed. While the latter was lucky to hear the bell, he failed to regain any sort of momentum in the final few rounds.
Told nothing, and I was back doing what I had to do, taking the kid to school, picking up some dog shit. That's about it, really. What else is a man gonna do in his life? In my position, like, what is there to do? You know, go train, go to the gym, eat some food, go to sleep, wake up, do the same again. You know, it's nothing much changes.
At the age of 36, Fury insists he's a different fighter than the one who beat Vladimir Klitschko in 2015 to become a world champion. This is largely due to the accumulation of shots he's taken over the last few years. I'm not the same guy I was at 21 or 22, but who is at that age? Fury said via AP Boxing. No one is, I suppose. Muhammad Ali wasn't. Joe Frazier, Mike Tyson definitely wasn't. Nobody is. Who is the same man they are at 36 as they was at 26? Nobody really. So yeah, all of those fights have a big effect on human beings. I remember when I was a young guy in my 20s and I said to Vladimir Klitschko, "Look at you, you're an old man." He was 37. I said, "You're old." I said, "You've got gray hairs in your beard." I said, "It's a young man's game." Now I'm in that position. I'm in that boat.
Yeah.
You know, it was definitely a story of two fights. The first 6-7 rounds, you looked like you were in complete control of that fight. Things changed certainly in the 9th when he landed that shot. When you look back on it, what changed? What do you think you went wrong there?
Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk are set to lock horns again on December 21st, with the Brit attempting to avenge his defeat by the Ukrainian in May. With the rematch just a few days away, Fury has revealed he wasn't surprised that he was caught by the Ukrainian and has blamed himself for allowing it to happen. It wasn't so much what he did right, it was me more fatigued than anything else, getting lackadaisical, you know what I mean? Fury said, throwing punches while I wasn't thinking about what I was doing. It wasn't because what he did was so great, it's what I did that was a mistake, really, and that's it.
Many times before, it happens, you know. You don't intentionally want to get knocked over, do you? You know what I mean? I didn't ever want to let Deontay Wilder hit a right hand on my jaw, but it happens. So I don't think anything went wrong. It's just boxing. You know, you get hit with a good shot, and sometimes it affects you, sometimes it...
Speaking in an interview ahead of the console release of the boxing video game Undisputed, Fury revealed his clear tactics for the sequel. I don't know. It's horses for courses, isn't it? It all depends on what I need to do at night. I needed to get Wilder out of there, or he got me out of there, and that's the type of fight it had to be. It had to be a 50-by-50 gunslinger with the biggest puncher in history, or else he'd have chinned me in round 9. Going into the rematch with Usyk, it's going to be the same. I'm going to roll the dice, and it's going to be you or me. Best foot forward and swing away. I've never been afraid to get knocked spark out. I've always put it on the line every time.
The judges, the 9th round, other than that, if I wouldn't have got a 10-8 in round 9, I would have won the fight. So it was what it was. But if I woulda, shoulda, coulda, it's all if, buts and maybes. If my dad would have pulled out, I'd have never been born. So there you go.
Ain't that the truth?
He added, "There's no secret. I'm going in there to knock you out because I don't think I'm going to get a decision no matter what I do. I don't think I'm going to get a boxing decision, so I'm going to have to take it out of the judge's hands like I did in America that time, and I've got to get Usyk out of there. Hand on heart, I have to get him out of there to see victory." What are your thoughts on Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk? What do you think about Tyson Fury's preparations and bodybuilding strategy for the rematch against Usyk? Whether Tyson Fury will reclaim his lost glory or lose it all, December 21st will decide. Let's know your thoughts in the comments section. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.